Hello and welcome to the channel. Wanted to give you guys a quick walk around of the vehicle we just bought from auction. It is a 2008 Infiniti G37 6-speed coupe. I'm really excited about this one because this is actually a vehicle I have had before in the past, and my previous G37 I tracked it a lot. I had a blast driving it, and it's a great vehicle to drive. This one obviously needs a little bit of work, but that's the exciting part about what we have in store for it. So we ended up picking up this vehicle for about $2,500 at auction. That was the final hammer price. With these, it was about $3,000 out the door. It's in pretty rough shape, but that makes for a fun project. But I want to give you guys a quick walk around of it. So far, you can see that it's pretty dirty. It does run and drive, as you can see from the exhaust coming out. But overall, the body's in pretty decent shape. There's no major dents, dings, no wreck that I can really spot out yet, but that'll be determined here in a little while. It's really dirty. I'm not sure if this thing was just never washed or it was just succumbed to very rough environment, but it's pretty dirty. But that makes me excited because we can clean things up pretty easily. It's a little harder to fix damage, but cleaning things up shouldn't be too bad. But starting around the front, you can see that there's a little bit of damage on the front bumper here. Not too bad. We'll see about getting that fixed up. Headlights are in pretty rough shape. It's got 199,000 miles on it, so it's kind of to be expected. Those will clean up pretty well, I think. But overall, the front's not too bad. It looks like we're missing a tow hook recovery piece. Hopefully we can find that in the vehicle somewhere. No fog lights on this one, as this is a sport. But it's got the Akebono brakes on it, so bigger brakes. It's a sport package, as I mentioned. I believe all the 6-speed manuals were sport package, or at least were majority of them were. I believe there were some Journeys that had 6-speed manuals. But like I said, the paint is in pretty rough shape. We've got some work to do on that. As you can see, I'll get kind of close here. It's been sitting outside in the auction yard for quite a while, of course, and that does a toll on it. The wheels are also in rough shape. The tires are completely bald and actually showing cords on a couple of them. So we'll see about getting some aftermarket wheels and tires, or maybe some OEM wheels and tires from a different model, or maybe we might just put tires on this. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't made up my mind on what we're going to do with that, but we'll see here shortly. Some damage to the rear bumper. Again, it's kind of similar to the damage on the front bumper, but we'll see if we can get that cleaned up. We'll see how much we can take out of it with just a little bit of paint correction first. Overall, in the rear, it's not too bad. This is a base model, so it doesn't have a backup camera, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. Maybe something we can potentially add in the future. I'm not exactly sure how difficult it is to add secondary, but we'll see. With the gas cap, it looks like there is a little bit of a issue with the cap stay piece. Looks like it might be cracked right here, so we'll see if we can fix that up. But it's supposed to stay right here, so that way when you let go of the cap, it doesn't go anywhere. But we'll tuck it in there for now so it doesn't look so bad. But yeah, like I mentioned, wheels are in pretty rough shape. Body is in okay shape, but paint is pretty rough right now. Hopefully we'll get that fixed up here shortly. This wheel is probably one of the worst. It's got a ton of brake dust that's just been caked up on it, a ton of curb rash, so I'm not really sure that there's much bringing this one back. But let's go to the interior and see what it looks like. All right, starting with the interior, it does have some custom upgrades to it. I'm not exactly sure if it's my style yet, but we'll determine that later. It's got this custom aftermarket red leather stitching with black. It looks okay. I'm just not sure that it's my style. I kind of like the OEM factory look, but it's just me. But overall, the interior is not horrible. You can see that it's a common problem on G37s with the steering wheel to lose a lot of its texture, if you will, but it just rubs off. So we'll definitely be replacing that. There's some damage in the center console here. The shift knob is in really rough shape. I don't know how much you can tell, but there's a piece missing there, so it makes it really uncomfortable to shift. But that's an easy fix. Overall, the interior is not too bad, though. The unfortunate part was that when it was at auction, the window was left down, just a very small amount. Unfortunately, a little bit of water did get in. So you can see there's a little bit of mold starting to grow. The worst place is definitely down here. Nothing terrible. It's only been at auction for about a month, so hasn't been sitting too long, but overall pretty good. Like I mentioned, it's running. It's got 199,000 miles on it. The airbag light is on. I'm thinking that's due to the aftermarket seats not having airbags. At least I'm hoping, but we'll get a scan tool on that shortly and figure that out. And then overall, you know, the interior is not in great shape. If I can get it to focus here, you can kind of see it. There's some damage and wear on these parts here. We'll see if we can fix them up, maybe potentially wrap them. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with it yet, to be honest with you guys. And then one thing I'm really gonna have to address is the headliner. It is disgusting. I'm not sure if they just constantly touch the headliner with dirty hands or what, but it's disgusting. So we're gonna have to figure out that one and, you know, figure out how we can make it clean again. So one thing I did notice, I looked for water damage in the trunk and didn't see any. But immediately when you lift up the trunk mat, which is also really gross, there is no spare tire, unfortunately. So we'll see about getting us a spare tire. I don't really like driving around without a spare tire, but we'll see how we can source one of those. And we can walk over to the passenger side here. So, as mentioned, passenger side's in, you know, equally good shape. The leather, like I said, it's custom. Looks like it was done relatively recently, maybe within the past few years. So, no rips or anything that I've found yet. It does look like we are missing a little trim piece that goes over the carpet there, so we'll try to source that. Potentially it's in the car somewhere as well. That would be really nice. Otherwise, that's about it for the interior, so let's jump to the engine bay. By far the biggest surprise so far is that the hood shocks actually work. I don't have vice grips on them this time. Really surprised for a car that has 199,000 miles that the hood shocks still work. I have to assume they were replaced at some point, but, you know, I don't have evidence of that. So, you know, looking at the engine bay, it's very dirty. That's gonna be one of the first things that we address. I prefer to clean the engine bays first because the amount of stuff that you're spraying out of it actually gets on the fenders and gets on the top of the hood and the windshield. So it's one of the first things that I personally like to clean first. I'm not really scared of cleaning engine bays. I've had really good luck with it. I know people kind of advise against it sometimes, but for me, I haven't really had an issue. You can see that I had to add a little oil and missed. But you know, it happens. Always check your oil before you start an auction car. This one was about a quart low. It wasn't even registering on the dipstick. Added about a quart and it came back to life. But the oil change is gonna be one of the first things we do because I'm pretty sure this oil hasn't been changed in about 12,000 miles, which is a little bit ridiculous. So hopefully it had synthetic in it. I kind of doubt it given it's a repossession car. I'm also gonna throw some seafoam in it to see if we can maybe clean out some of the crankcase before we actually change the oil, but I'm actually letting it run now to see if we can get the oil warm enough so we can change the oil in it. Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll change the oil first and then we'll get to cleaning. All right guys, so as I mentioned, first step is gonna be to get the oil changed. I ended up going with the Mobil 1 5W30 and a K&N oil filter, one of my favorite combinations. It's personal choice. I'm sure some people will have some negative things to say about that, but it's one that I like the most. I feel like I get good performance out of it, and you know, it's relatively cheap for what it is when you find them on special, so I encourage you to look around at your local auto parts store and see if you can find it on special. This one's about $40 for an oil change, so not too bad. Now let's get this thing started. All right, guys, I've got the oil drained from the car. As you can see, the oil doesn't look too bad. There's a little bit of bubbles in here, so don't worry about that. But, you know, it doesn't look horrible. There's no, like, metallic flake in it that I can see. You know, it overall looks pretty good. It looks well used, but not in too bad of shape. I did have a little bit of difficulty getting the oil filter off, as you can see. Had to get my oil filter wrench on there. Slid a few times, but I finally got it to grab. And then also, please guys, make sure to take your oil ring off too. When they sit there for a long time, it's likely that they'll stay on without the oil filter. I've seen a couple of guys lose an engine due to this. They don't pay attention when they start the car back up after they put oil in it, and they're like, oh, look at that, it's ready to go. They drive off, leaving a huge oil streak behind them, and no oil ends up in the engine. So make sure to take that off with you. I wanted to show you guys underneath really quick. It's actually really clean for how old it is. I can't see an oil leak on it. It does, I mean, I'm truly blown away. This is a really good engine. I've known that for a long time, but and sorry for the low light, but I mean, look at that. There's nothing on there. There's no oil streaks down there. There's nothing on the transmission, nothing on the catalytic converters. Everything looks super clean. So overall, I'm really happy with this purchase. Let's get back to putting oil in it. All right, so I know some of you guys are gonna say, wait, you didn't finish. You didn't put the skid plate back on. Yes, I am well aware I did not put it back on. Since I'm gonna be pressure washing the engine bay, I'm actually gonna leave it off right now. We'll put it right back on after we finish, but I wanna give the water an easy way to drain out, not kind of let it pool at the bottom. Doesn't really matter since it's plastic, but it's just one of my pet peeves, so I'll just get it going. Here we go. All right guys, right before we get started on this, I just want to show you my process. I generally use Purple Power to go over the entire engine bay. After that, I will wash it down really well after agitating it with that paintbrush there. Agitate it all, get the dirt loose, pressure wash it back off, maybe do that a couple times, and then I'll follow it with some Aerospace 303 as a final, and then give it a final wipe down with a leaf blower air dry. So let's get going. All right, so we just washed the engine bay. Took the Purple Power at first and obviously agitated, as you guys saw. It looks pretty good, honestly. I don't think I'm gonna have to do another pass on it, but as you can see, there's still a little bit of water laying around every once in a while. What I like to do in this case is generally just start it up, let it sit for a little while, maybe go drive it. I may go get some fuel really quick, fill it up with gas, just to get that engine hot again and get it to steam. It'll dry off pretty quickly. Let's get it going. And just to prove to you guys we didn't do any damage by doing that engine bay clean here. Starts right up. No issues at all. All right guys, time for the big reveal. There's still some areas where there's a little bit of aerospace 303 left over, but it'll dry up. It's a little hard to get to with microfiber. I might stick a screwdriver in there and clean it up a little bit, such as like right here in the intake. But overall, it looks really good. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Looks way better than it did before. Looks doesn't look like such a 200,000 engine bay mile. Whatever I'm trying to say there. Alright guys, so that's going to be a wrap on the first video, and I'm really excited to bring you guys to this channel. It's really something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've been watching guys like B is for Build, Goon Squad, and also Auto Auctions Rebuild. Make sure you guys subscribe to all of those guys because they're total inspiration for what I want to do with this channel, and bring you a little different flavor, but at the same time, you know, a lot of the similar content to, you know, flipping cars and fixing them and, you know, kind of doing our own thing with them. So really excited to bring you guys this content. I would like to go a little bit into detail about you know, a few things that we're doing here, so stay tuned. We're really excited of what we have in plan for this thing. Now that we got the engine bay clean and we've got the walk around finished, we're gonna jump right into the exterior on this thing, and it is disgusting. It's been a really interesting trying to figure out what exactly we're gonna do to the exterior, but then we're gonna move on to the interior. We got to fix the wheels. There's so many things that we're gonna have to do on this thing. There's a couple mechanical things that we got to tackle here and there, but you know, like I said, really excited to bring you guys this channel and show you what I've done for, you know, the past few flips that I've done. This is only my second auction car I've ever built, but at the same time, I flipped, you know, numerous other vehicles. So really excited to show you my flavor. I'm not an expert by any means, you know, I've said that multiple times, but you know, I know how to create a good car and make sure that somebody's gonna be really happy with what they end up with. So really excited to bring you guys this channel. It's something I've always wanted to do, so please comment below. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like. You know, I want to cater this content to you guys. So, and then obviously, if you don't mind, please like and subscribe. I mean, that's the only way I'm going to know from you guys if I'm delivering the content you guys want to see. And that's what keep this channel going. So really excited to launch this on January 1st. We're going to see how this thing goes for a year, you know, see how much we can build it up over the year. So really excited to come back to you guys at the end of 2020 and see exactly where we ended up. So with that, we'll catch you guys on the next video.